Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I am the Illusionist, and this is Blood Bowl. Based on the board game by Games Workshop, Cyanide Studios released it in 2009. It's currently available through Steam. I've been a big fan of the board game for many years, and I'm currently taking part in an online league through a forum. What I would like to do is a Let's Play series. I'm going to show you some of the games that I've played, some of the tactics I've used, and generally just try and help you through your own Blood Bowl career as coach. So, stay tuned, and I hope you'll enjoy what you're watching. A Wood Elf team. I am playing as the Ironbeards, fierce, ferocious dwarves. It's the first game of the series, so we're both fairly similar in team value. My opponent has an extra reroll that I don't, but I also have a apothecary, you see down in the bottom right hand corner. Fairly evenly matched. I'm looking forward to this, and it should be a good match. I've got the edge in terms of fighting, they've got the edge in terms of speed and agility. I'll turn off the automatic camera because it's rubbish. G to turn on the grid, N to show the names, so you can see lineman, blocker, troll slayer. Gives you a good idea of who's doing what, and gives you a good idea of where things are starting. Now, as I recall, the Elves won the toss. You can see in the hitbox down the bottom. In fact, they lost the toss, which is fine. The Dwarves elect to receive. I was watching the setup now. Fairly competitive Wood Elf team, I feel. 10 linemen and a War Dancer, who is probably going to be doing all the heavy lifting, as they tend to do, while the linemen hold the fort and generally keep the team alive while they get the money to do more games and get more players later on. The Wood Elves naturally have gone for quite a defensive setup. They're well away from the touchline. The Dwarves, on the other hand, decided to be a lot more aggressive. I need to get up close, pin these guys down, mark them all. So, with my pathetic movement values of 4, 5, 6 at best, I need to start close. My tactics for this game are to close the Elves down. Even if it means it's always 1-on-1 or even 1-on-2, I need to keep them pinned in place. The more dodge rolls they make, the more likely they are to fail dodge rolls. And if they fail dodge rolls, their turn turns over, I get to play, hopefully with a few injuries. So here we go. Kick deep into my half. As you see in the bottom left hand corner, there's an event of a blitz. The Wood Elves basically get a free turn where they can blitz me and try and get the upper hand. As you can see what's going to happen, after a moment of forethought, I think my opponent was reading through the rules at this point. The first thing the Wood Elf wants to do is to try and get deep into my half. Elf Ball, as it's known, involves getting quickly into your opponent's half, getting the ball and scoring as fast as possible, which they can do pretty quickly with their horrific movement values of 8, 9, 10. If you're following, we go for it. So, the blocker gets punched in the face, falls over, instant gap through to my half of the pitch. Can't go wrong there. Personally, I'd have said that dodge was a little bit unnecessary, as you could have moved the lineman here and had the War Dancer do the blitz. And instead of falling, just keep moving. It's an extra dice roll you don't have to do. Agility 4 with dodge, not a lot to lose. Why risk it if you really don't have to? Still, seems to be working so far. Everyone nudges forward. They don't want to allow my guys to come onto their half of the pitch, but at the same time, they can't really afford to be getting beaten down by the Dwarves, who are much more heavily armoured and have skills like thick skull and tackle, which tend to make things go their own way in a fight. Kind of slow progress, but everyone's edging forward, and the game begins. The ball lands nearly as close to my end zone as it can. Wonderful. So automatically I'm on the back foot already. I have one dwarf within range of the ball, 2 elves bearing down on him. Thankfully I make the pickup and I risk a run. Cost me a reroll to do that, but I need to get back up the pitch. I need to get away from these elves. I think that was a reasonable choice. Blocker stands up, marks the lineman. So now he has to fight me or risk a dodge to get out of the way. And now we take down his front line. One guy down, one guy knocked out. Great. And a push. Doesn't matter. He's a little bit further away from the ball, and he's marked by my blitzer. I can live with that. Marking the War Dancer. The War Dancer's never going to really worry about that, since he can dodge away. But you put the boot in, slows him down a little bit. What happens? Both down or attacker down? That kind of sucks. They both have block, so nothing comes of that really. Everyone's moving up, trying to get a cage going. If you're not sure what it is, a cage is where you have the ball carrier and surround him on all 4 sides with my own friendly players, making it really difficult for someone to get in there and take the ball off him. You can't really do it with just 2 other defenders. You can make a start though, particularly when you're this close to the edge of the pitch so your opponent can't get around or behind you. Just marking up. It's not really a 2-on-1 there because that guy's in his tackle zone. But I'm now pinning those 2 elves in place. They have to fight me or dodge away. Fighting me goes in my favour. Dodging out of the way, it's a risk. They might fail and turn over. That's what I want to see happen. Well, that was a good turn. Got the ball, reasonably safe, everyone's marked up. The elves are down to 10 men. They are sleeping off the injury over here in the box. What I should say about this Let's Say Play series is that I'm going to record the halves of the games individually and upload them separately. The game's gone quite a long time. 4 minutes a turn, 8 turns, 2 teams. That could be as many as 16 turns. Nearly an hour and a half. Far too long for YouTube. And now I've talked over the War Dancer. See what I mean? Trying to dodge away. He failed, cost him a reroll, turned over. The elves didn't achieve anything that turn, which is fine by me. Start shoving them around. If I could have knocked him over, been much happier, but you can't have everything. Now I start moving up the pitch. Not an ideal place to be. I have to get through these 3 elves if I'm going to get down to the end zone, but it's a start. And this is about as good a cage as you can manage with just 2 defenders. So wherever someone attacks the ball defender from, there's a guy here or a guy here, they're going to be in at least one other tackle zone. So it's going to be really tricky to get any assists and knock him over. Having a think here, trying to figure out what would be best to do. And beating up elf linemen. I choose to blitz. So if I knock him down, that's great. I can step over him and complete my cage. If I couldn't, I might have pushed him away and then just walked around him. Same result, really. He goes to the back, so I'm aware the War Dancer has plenty of movement. He can still get up and attack if he wanted to. I put him there, there's no chance he can get near my runner and get the ball off me. So, Dwarf keep away at this point. Marking up, that guy's effectively stuck there now, he has to fight me or run. Troll Slayer throws down, takes a lineman. Great stuff. Again, marked up, marked up. I might not have risked a 1 dice block there, because that had gone wrong. That would have freed up both those players to escape and run where they want to in the next turn. I might have decided to wait, let them take the risk. But in this case, I like punching elves. So this side of the pitch, the elf player is doing the right thing. He's moving as close to my cage as he can, but he's not getting into contact with me. What that means is I can only perform one blitz per turn. If I can only perform one blitz per turn, I can only knock one elf out of the way per turn. So effectively, I'm slowed to a crawl, because I can only move the cage one space, knock the elf over. Next turn, move one space, knock the elf over. And that's going to take me a lot of turns to get to the end zone, unless I can break out later on. Until he can get the ball off me, good stalling tactic. Okay, knocks over the Troll Slayer, not a problem. Gets a 2-on-1 block against my Blitzer. Not a problem. He's nice and tough, he can take it. And he's not really doing himself a favour there, because I'm still pinning two of his players in place. More bodies in the way, not a problem there. Personally, I'd have got that guy up at the start of the turn. He had no idea how those blocks and blitzers were going to go. Could have turned over and had his guy lying on the floor for another turn. At least if he's there and he's up, he's someone who's in the way. He can catch the ball on a spur of a moment if he needs to. Try and get as much done every turn before you do something risky. That way, if it all does go wrong, you've achieved something, I feel. I think he's run out of ideas here. The War Dancer gets up and stands behind me. He's waiting for the ball to fall loose, or quite likely if he can knock this guy over, he can just mob me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players on 5 with a blitz. He will knock at least one of them down. I'll be outnumbered. I won't be able to stop him getting the ball the turn after. That's what I'm considering right now. I have to break through here quickly before I get locked in my own cage, essentially. So, knock him over, everyone hutches up a little bit more. Ideally, he'd have been stunned and face down for 2 turns. Then I can blitz this guy the turn after, move out the way, and then it's 1-on-1 every time rather than having to switch every turn. Meanwhile, these 3 guys are just going around beating people up. I'm trying to win the attrition here. I want to knock over elves, I want to injure them, and whatever happens with this ball, I want to be able to do much better on the next drive. Good example. Lineman goes down, knocked out. 2 on the bench, it's now 11 on 9. That's where I want to be. Puts another body in the way. Also, one behind the other. Puts them in a line, I could potentially just bum rush him, block them all next turn, knock them all over. This way, it's at least 2 turns before I can get through. At least 2 turns. Good tactic. Personally, I think he's spending far too much effort on these 2 guys in the middle. If he really wanted to, he could have taken my front line apart by now and left this one blocker here, Drakus the Stout, and my runner completely exposed. Risky. My guys all got block and thick skull, they're not going down easy. But at this point, you can't score without the ball. That was unfortunate. His one blitz, trying to thin me out, got an attacker down result. And the War Dancer goes down. Happens a lot with this War Dancer, you'll notice. Keep an eye on him. See? First thing I do, get my guys up, For absolutely no price, these 3 players are now pinned in place and are stuck for the rest of the turn. Now I've got this wall of 3 guys here, and the lineman and the war dancer are down, I can afford to spread my cage forward a little bit. I don't necessarily want to open it up entirely, but it gives my troll slayer something to do. 3 against 2 with an extra blitz. This is a big solid wall. And I push. Of course I just push. But that's fine. I now I match him, and I can throw a block and a blitz next turn to try and force my way through this gap, get my runner up to the end zone. If you haven't already seen, Team Hippy has some really funny names for their players. They are wood elves, of course, so they like trees and they like the forest. Woodsman, chopper, chip off the old block. It's canapé, not canapé. And while I'm talking, my guy's getting beaten up. Of course they are. Used his last reroll, because that was attacker down, I think. Both down. I have blocked, he doesn't. So that would have ended his turn. Good move though, because now, had that gone better, my troll slayer's got nowhere else to go but off the pitch. I blitz this guy, if nothing else, to give some space for him to move back into. That it was a push was disappointing. I've now got him exactly where I want him. I can start beating him down and start pushing forward. Of course, the dice go against me. Push, push, both down. So there's a body in the way. I can't get through this gap. Stuck here for another turn. Bang! 1 dead elf. Sorry, buddy. First serious casualty of the match. First one of the season. Dead. That's Blood Bowl, folks. It can be brutal. He gets his own back. Don't you worry about that. So it's now 8 players against 11. 5 of his are on the floor. Very strong position for the Dwarves. That's not to say the Elves are without teeth. That guy who died, I'm going to pay for him. Don't you worry about it. Elf turn 5. At this point, I'm starting to think, if I can't break through this blockade in the next turn, I'm going to play keep away. He's only got movement 6, and it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 spaces away from the end zone. In 2 turns, I would have to sprint flat out, move my full 6, go for it twice. Risky, going to have to dodge past a bunch of elves. I have to get out my own cage first. On reflection, I should probably have done it this turn. Move this guy forward, move this guy around the side. I've got a free run all the way up here. Would I have risked getting blocked? Maybe. I could put enough bodies in the way if I wanted to. Right now, I'm trapped in my own cage. And I deserve it. Elf's playing defensively. He's lost players. Again, he's stalling. He can't get the ball, so he can't score. The next best thing to do is to stop me from scoring. He's doing that really well. Token block there. Troll Slayers are the least armoured guys on my team with only an armour value of 8. If anyone's going to get hurt, it would have been him. Worth a try. I don't learn anything. Left my Troll Slayer right on the edge of the pitch. He's in serious danger of getting knocked off any minute now. Again, marking up. Could have moved my runner out here, marked up on this corner. The best you get would be a one-on-one after a couple of dodgy dodges. Instead, I've let the lineman and the war dancer go completely free. I'm trying to be too clever here. I want to push. So the lineman goes into the lineman, goes into the lineman, edge of the board. I don't get to choose that one though, because it's an open space. Which would have meant next turn, if he had landed here, Troll Slayer pushes, at least one of them goes off the pitch. Maybe two if I get really lucky. Easiest way of thinning out your opponent, just push them off. Doesn't matter if they don't get hurt, they're out of the game for the rest of the drive. Of course, in hindsight, easy for you to say that. This being a replay, I've had time to study it and realise where I've gone wrong. Such is life. See, now I should definitely have moved my guy up here. Could use the blitzer and the blocker, put them where this lineman is, have my runner in the middle about there, protected on all three sides, and the front side, they have to dodge past the Troll Slayer and the blocker to get to him. And it would have put me within striking distance of the end zone within a turn. Didn't do it. I'm now stuck behind my own bodies. With a war dancer sneaking up behind me. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have moved him out. Because that would have stung if he had got his hands on my runner. He doesn't even have block, so he'd have probably gone down quite easily. I'm attacks the Troll Slayer. He's thinking about it. Pushed out of the way. Good plan. One less assist on this guy, who can attack whoever he wants. Exactly what I didn't want. The Troll Slayer's got nowhere to go but off the pitch. Gets blitzed, he's got an assist, 2 dice against 1, and he's injured. Pinch nerve, missed the next game. Exactly what I've been trying for the last 2 turns. My opponent succeeds, and he gets an injury out of it. My apothecary doesn't care. He substitutes miss next game for dead, and surprisingly I choose not to let my Troll Slayer die. Good play, really good play from Take a Bow. Ugh. Okay, fine. See the lineman at the top up there? Remember him, he's important. Now for a little bit of revenge, start pushing them around some more. I don't learn! This guy still stood here, and now I'm going to push myself off if I'm not careful. Frenzy, frenzy, off! Oh look, what's here? The Troll Slayer can't go anywhere. I'll give you 3 guesses to what happens next turn. Shouldn't complain. 1, 2, 3, 4 people off. So they're down to 8 players. I'm down to 10. And I've got the ball. They can't get it off me. Reasonably good position. Turn 8 next coming up. I can't score. So, all to play for. Perhaps being a bit too defensive here. I could have spared those 2 blockers and a blitzer and moved them out here. If only to cause more injuries and generally upset people. And blitz, and push. Bye bye Troll Slayer. Badly hurt, off the board. Oh! Why won't I learn? Not much else he can do. I mean, he can't even stand this guy up without getting his head kicked in. Get in the trunk. Oh dear. Ends the turn. He can't get the ball. I'm determined to push forward. I'm not entirely sure why. It seemed like a good idea at the time. However, I finally get the message. That pause was an epiphany happening when I realised, oh yeah, my runner can move sideways, and so can these guys. And look, War Dancer gets it in the face. I'm using the blocker because he has the tackle skill, which is what I need to take down a block dodge War Dancer, whereas my Blitzer, who a bit tougher, doesn't have the skill, and the skill's important, and it gets me what I want. The guy face down, he's stunned. Token run for glory, just to prove that I can, more than anything. I suppose it doesn't achieve anything, except put me in a position to get my head kicked in next turn. The Blitzer walks through. The closest I can get to a cage, having two guys stood next to each other. At the very least, it forces him to take the long way around to try and get a 1 dice block, or it forces him to dodge away to get a 2 dice block. Again, every time he takes a dodge, it's a risk that I don't have to. And he's got no rerolls. Force your opponent to make mistakes. That's the best way to win this game. And defender stumbles. So for all that time, I ran out here too late and I wasted the opportunity. Dodge. Elves are going to dodge, they're pretty good at it. This guy moves as far as he can. Remember this guy? I forgot about him. And throws the ball. It's a worthwhile idea. Last play of the turn. If he can make this connection, he scores. Flub. Too bad. Really hard luck. I played keep away too long. Much more he can do about that. And half time. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the first half. I hope you come back for the second one. I'll see you soon. Take care.